Hello, we are Biffy Clyro. You're watching and listening to Linear Rock, and we are here right now.
True.
Hi guys, hi,
Hello.
Biffy Clyro, welcome.
Yay.
Hi.
Hello Barbara, how are you doing?
Fine, how are you guys?
Great, thank you, great.
Welcome to Linear Rock. So, Ellipsis is Biffy Clyro's 7th album. And for who knows the band, since the very beginning, and also for the new fans, how is this new record a natural evolution from Black Net Sky, from actually dated 2002?
Yeah, it's been a long journey. I guess the first 3 records we made were kind of prog, math metal records that were really complex. And then for our second 3 albums, we worked with a producer called Garth Richardson, and we wanted to make albums that sounded like Zeppelin or Guns N' Roses or whoever else, all the classics. And on this album, we wanted to kind of embrace newer technology and use the studio a lot more. We've always just used the studio to document the sound of our band, and on this album it felt like it was time to embrace the studio and embrace the chaos of plugging in weird Russian synthesizers and things and saying, what does this do? So it was quite nice to be out of our comfort zone. And,
Right. And actually, your albums, style-wise, have come in blocks of 3. Is the new one like the start of a new trilogy, a new beginning?
Yes, it feels like that for sure. I think it's really important to keep moving forward as a band, and sometimes to do that you have to impose certain rules upon yourself and certain parameters, and I think we really had a great time working with Rich Costey, and we'd love to make the next 2 records with him. I hope he still likes us, Rich. But, yeah, it definitely feels like the start of the next chapter of the band, and we're still loving things as much as we ever have.
And you posed naked for Ellipsis front cover. Whose idea was that, and why it fits so perfectly to the concept and sound and spirit of the record?
Simon's idea.
I've always any excuse to get these fellas naked. Then I guess the idea was there first, and we thought it was quite funny. We didn't think it was going to work. Like the thought of the 3 of us lying in a fetal position on the ground. So we thought we'll give it a try, and James was brave enough to go first. And as soon as we looked at the picture, it was really vulnerable, and it was more intimate and definitely not funny. We weren't laughing. We thought we'd be laughing for weeks, but it wasn't funny. And it felt like on this album we've tried to kind of lose as much baggage as possible, lose everything we've learned over the years. We tried to kind of become a brand new band again and feel like we hadn't learned anything, and I think the artwork reflects that, like we're being reborn, and we're trying to not bring anything that we've previously learned onto this album. And visually, I guess it's like a human ellipsis as a visual. It's the human version of a dot. So there was a few reasons that it worked, and I think we've done it now. It's as simple as that. It's out there now.
And did you pose just in fetal position, or there are more shots around?
There's a special edition coming soon, Barbara. Thankfully that is the only version of the photos available.
Okay, so this record comes after the big success of Opposites, which conquered the charts, and it comes also 3 years after it came out. The other came out. Was the huge success of the previous record somehow one of the variables to keep in mind before this next move, or it was anyhow easy, for you to keep it natural anyways?
I think it was tougher. Opposites became more successful than we thought it was going to be, and we don't. Expectation is a pressure. It's really lovely to have more people listen to our band, but it's tough because then you start thinking about the fans, you start thinking about what people maybe expect you to do, and I think that's why we took our time with this album. We wanted to find our own path to album 7, and we didn't want to do what was expected of us or take the easy way out. I think it would have been very easy for us to make Opposites Part 2. And we weren't really interested in that. We knew it was time for a change, and it was just a case of being patient and letting the songs come that felt as though they were something fresh and new for us.
And 2015 was actually a year off for Biffy Clyro, apart from, the Hogmanay show in Edinburgh. Okay, this has been your first long break in 15 years. Was it planned? Was it a sort of necessity to take, a break in that particular moment of your career?
I think it was a necessity. I don't think it's something we'll do again. It wasn't very easy. I think trying to find purpose when you spent 15 years on the road, having a show every night and something to concentrate on was very difficult. And of course we came off 2 years on the road when we were probably mentally and physically exhausted. So it took a little minute to kind of pick up the pieces and I guess put your life back together in some regard, but I think it was really important. Certainly feeling the benefit now. We've got an increased hunger and the desires back. Not that it ever really truly waned, but I think it's important in life sometimes to take stock and just take a step back from your life and have a look what position you're in and attack with a new determination.
And is it correct that you have this ritual to work on new songs just in your old rehearsing room? Is that correct?
Yeah, I think
that is a magical place for you.
There's something we feel like kids again when we're in our practice room, and I think that's important with music. If you start thinking too much about what songs you're writing, then suddenly it loses the magic. So for us, it's so important that we always know whether a song is going to work if we play it in the practice room and it feels good and we're looking at each other and smiling and and having a laugh. I think that's so important, and that's where we feel kind of most comfortable probably is in that room. No one else really comes to visit us there. It's just the three of us, and
you can free your mind.
Exactly. Music should be an innocent, and it shouldn't be something that's, even though we put rules on ourselves, it shouldn't be pre-planned the kind of music you're going to make. It's just it's a lovely reset for us between albums. I think we'll always pull our albums together in our practice room.
Okay, so the Johnsons as the rhythm section and Simon, who is the frontman. Having two brothers in the lineup can be sometimes an unbalanced situation, or after so many years, you're just like three brothers in the end, and so. Even if the fact, that of course conflicts, can be a stimulation in creativity sometimes, like a healthy competition, but you're maybe always two against one, or what? How does it work?
It's funny. I sometimes we get asked that, and it very rarely happens, actually. I'd say it's probably either me and Ben against James or me and James against Ben. But I think this is the only band we've been in, but I think because it's bass and drums, there's such a strength between Ben and James being twins. It's like there's a real power there that I think other bands don't have, and I don't want to sound arrogant, but I believe that, and I think we try to have as little, not to sound like Kirk Hammett from Some Kind of Monster, but hopefully we don't have a lot of ego. I think we feel more powerful together, and I think that's what's kept us going. None of us think we're better than anyone else, and falling out is healthy. I think actually because Ben and James are twins, over the years we've learnt to kind of get mad and just get it out of the way. It's too easy to keep things, especially as men. You tend to keep things to yourself and then explode. And it's funny when Ben and James are bickering on the road. It's so funny because it's the people the best you can put down with one word, and when you see Ben and James, whether it's a look, a look at each other, the roll of the eyes, and so it's healthy though, and I don't think we wouldn't want it any other way.
No, I think it's never us against Simon. That is just simply like Simon said, and I think if anything, it probably goes to sort of create the kind of brotherhood, if you like, if that doesn't sound too cheesy. And it feels like three brothers in a band. It definitely doesn't feel like.
Because I've known the boys for so long, I felt like a part of the boys' family for so long. We rehearsed in your house for years. Yeah. We went to our first shows and stayed together. So I feel like the missing link. Yeah. I'm the triplet.
Okay, so you worked in Los Angeles with Rich Costey, famous for its work with Muse, My Chemical Romance, and Sigur Rós. Was it tougher to get used to LA's tempos of life, or sticking actually to rich working schedule?
I don't. The Ellie lifestyle is very easy. You know, it's basically just wake up, relax, and go and do something in the sunshine. So that was easy. Rich is quite a unique character. He's kind of like an excitable school kid. Yeah. And his excitement and hunger to make music is incredible. You know, I can't imagine what he would have been like when he was 20 years old, because even in his 40s, he loves it. He'll text in the middle of the night saying, I've been thinking about this song, and it's he's a very contagious person to work with. So it took us a week or two to get used to how he worked, because everything is living and breathing. Nothing is ever finished until the last day in the studio, and that's something that's tough for us, because we like to say, cool, that's complete, we'll put that
Done.
to the side. And he's not like that. The door is always open. So there was a few days where we'd be like, Rich, it sounds amazing, why are we recording the drums again? And he'd be like, we can get it even better. But the levels of trust have grown so much, and I really feel that Rich brought so much to this record, and as Garth did in the previous ones, but it feels that we're now in a new area with Rich, and we've a lot to learn from him.
And among your influences for this new album, you mentioned, surprisingly, songs from The Big Chair by Tears for Fears, a band which, you know, seems opposite, or anyways distant from what you sound like, to your style, your genre. What's the connection with Tears for Fears, and is there any other unpredictable influences that you can mention shocking us?
Hootie and the Blowfish have been my biggest influence. What band were we talking about? Tears for Fears.
Yeah, so tattoos, isn't it?
It was. I was getting tattooed in Paris a couple of years ago, and they just did Tears for Fears on all day. And I never realised how strange Tears for Fears were. The songs are really, really strange.
Yeah.
Some of it's atonal. All the songs are like 6 minutes long, and I just love the sound of those records. That was back when people were just trying to make records sound bigger and bigger and bigger, and the drum it sounded like the drum was recorded in the Sistine Chapel or something, and that just really appealed to us. Our education is rock music, you know, like that everything we do is built upon being a rock band and loving, you know, Nirvana, Guns N' Roses, whoever. But in the last few years, we've definitely been taking influence. So a lot of the production sounds were inspired by Tears for Fears. There was a rapper called A$AP Rocky who put out a really great record a couple of years or a year or so ago, and a lot of it is just the sonic influences. It's not necessarily the genre of music, but it's just the sounds. And I feel like rock music can move into these areas. We can still be heavy bands, we can still be distorted guitars, but just taking a little bit of influence from that and a little bit from that. And I think Tears for Fears, the song that probably sounds most influenced by that is a song called Friends and Enemies, which is the second song on the album, and you can probably hear the kind of 80s influence on that, but we just let it saturate the sound, you know. We try and not be too specific about things, but I guess no one would expect hip-hop country music. There's a fantastic singer called Chris Stapleton who put out a wonderful record called Traveller. And that kind of partly influenced the song Small Wishes. We just thought, sod it, why can't we put a country song on this record? And we did, whoa!
All right, and in which sense your lyrics are very personal, and what you're so angry about? You defined actually this record as a fist in the face. So is it like in Scottish DNA?
Yes. I mean, there's a phrase in Scotland, we snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And that's pretty much how we live our lives. But in terms of the last few years, as the band got bigger, more and more people have opinions and try and perhaps force their opinion on you and what kind of record you should make. And last year, I felt when I was struggling to write songs, I felt like I didn't need anyone else's opinion. I didn't want that to confuse my mind, and so a lot of the songs are us saying, "This is our band. Back off, you know, stay away from us, and let us do what we do." Because we were friends. We started this band at 14. We were friends before we played music, and that's all that matters to me, and hopefully to us, is the three of us making music, getting to enjoy our lives, making music together, and without sounding rude, everyone else's opinion can kind of get out, you know, disappear in a polite way of saying, disappear.
Okay, last question for today. In August, you played as headliners at Reading and Leeds, two of the most important festivals worldwide, and also the Bella Houston Park huge show in Glasgow, your homeland. What did it mean for you, and how was the experience? Is this a goal, or you see it as a new start, a new level for Biffy Clyro?
A bit of both.
It
isn't
feels
really?
feels like every show's as a new start. You know, we couldn't really go on stage at Reading and just say, "Oh, weren't we so great in 2013?" You know, you have to always keep trying to improve in your performance and do a better show. But really, it's such an honour, as you say. It's a worldwide famous festival and one that we grew up kind of appreciating from afar. So. To have worked our way up through all the stages and finally headline is really amazing. And of course to play a show in our hometown or near our hometown is always really special.
35,000 people?
Yeah, it was
40.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's strange because we try and not think too much about gigs like that, but that weekend was hard not to reflect upon because each show was incredible, and there are memories that will be with us forever till the day we die. And there's... You know, all gigs are memorable. You know, the crowd make the gigs memorable, but that weekend is certainly one that felt like a bit of a dream, and I think we're still coming down from it actually. So it was a pleasure.
So since you're pretty huge right now, what's next?
We will have a more selective audience. We're going to do what Spinal Tap did, you know. But I don't know. I mean, I guess we just enjoy playing. We try and not plan anything, you know. If we tried to plan anything 10 years ago, we would never still be here. And I think we love making music, and that's what everything stems from, the love of making music and being a band. So, you know, if people stop coming and seeing us, that's fine. We'll still love making music as much, and it's just to make more records, see different parts of the world, and it feels like we're only just getting started. So this definitely feels like the start of a next chapter.
So you don't like making plans, but you have a plane to catch.
Yes,
so we better cut it short now. And so thank you very much for your time, and see you next time in Italy.
Thank you.
Hopefully
Thank you so much.
back, on stage and
Definitely.
playing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ciao. Rock on.
Rock on.